as we were walking to the room, we saw the Fair Work Commission wage increase. They announced a 5.75% increase in the minimum wage.
So of the workforce, how many people does that cover?
It covers about 20%, and through the various awards that are linked to the minimum wage. So you might be a little bit above, but of course, if you're one pay bracket above the minimum wage, you get a pretty chunky pay rise too. 5.75 is pretty high. And you've got to remember too, there's an extra 0.5% from the increase in the superannuation charge.
July.
From 1 July, it goes from 10.5% to 11%. I like superannuation as a policy. I think it's a good economic policy. But if you're an employer, you've got to pay an extra 0.5%. So on wages, I'd actually put that in neutral to tightening. And indeed, the wage price index number, which came out a couple of weeks ago, confirmed annual increase at 3.7. So
that's a bit up.
Not bad, but going up. Correct. So I'd put that dynamic there. Now the international economy,
just on that.
Oh, sorry, Mark,
what's interesting about that though? That's only a problem if employers or the manufacturer or the owner of the business, the proprietor, can actually reflect those increase in unit costs in their new price. So that's the most interesting thing. So the question on the other side of that is, are consumers of the product that the employer is paying the extra wages for, is that consumer prepared or able to pay more money for that product?
That's the critical element. And at the moment, we've got the consumer starting to hunker down. I'll touch on that in a minute too.
And I might just also add to that.
Yes, wages are only a problem if I can pass them on in my selling prices to recoup those high wages. If I put my selling price up and no one comes through my door, well,
you'll be putting your prices down.
I'll be putting my prices down to try to keep my market share. Correct.
Or the employees who are getting the extra money can now produce more widgets. So productivity is a big issue, which, by the way, productivity is down in this country. We are at the all-time low of productivity.
We are bad at it. I can't work it out because with technology, computers and machinery and things, our productivity should be booming. But I think it's because we've
that is productivity. Just make that clear. But there's the amount of output per person.
Per person per hour worked.
Yeah.
So, in the olden days, using it, one example I love to use, using a pick and shovel to dig the tunnel under the Sydney Harbour, or using a machine. How many man hours would it take to dig the tunnel with a pick and shovel and a wheelbarrow? Goodness knows how many. You got this machine, you only employed probably 20 people and it digs the sort of tunnel. So your productivity is enhanced by technology, machinery, equipment. And, we need to have a big ramp up in CapEx, in capital expenditure, to get and infrastructure spending from the government sector, state and federal, to get our productivity back up. But it's pretty poor at the minute.
So we just want everyone to understand that whenever we talk about wages and the impact of wages on inflation, there are two factors. If wages are going up, but the business is producing twice as much, but wages only go up by 10%, then that's pretty good. The employee does not need to put their price up.
Correct.
Because they get the same price but with a bigger margin.
And in fact, if I could say it this way, if we had productivity growth of, say, 3% as opposed to next to nothing, wages could probably grow at 5.5% or 6%, and it wouldn't be inflationary because I'm producing more output from my labour.
Yep.
I'm getting paid for that. I'm happy as a worker getting that pay rise. You're happy as an employer paying that because you're getting more output and you're making good money. So wage increases are not bad in themselves. It's how they come about and what the implication is for inflation from each business owner.
Yeah. In other words, can I get more money? I'm paying more. Can I get more?
Can I cover it and keep my doors open and people come in? Fine. But if it leads to people staying away because, the price of that's gone up, I'm not going to come in and buy that anymore, then the economy, that's where high wages, high inflation feeds into an economic heartland.
Yep.